So you might have heard things like that song is in G major and the chord progression is a 1-4-5, or it's a 1-6-2-5 and things like that, and you are wondering what that actually means. So that's what we're going to find out today in this lesson on chord numbers for complete beginners, for dummies really, okay? So we're going to explain what all this means and why you need to know this, but I'm not going to assume that you already have a background on music theory and keys and things like that. All I'm going to assume is that you know that the C major scale is made by the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then back to C. If you know how to play this scale, especially in this position, that would be helpful, okay? If you know the distance between these notes, like whole step, half, whole, half, that's absolutely great, but it's not fundamental to follow this lesson. What it's important to say is that the same notes of this C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, when they start from the letter A, from the first letter of the alphabet, they take the name of A natural minor scale or A minor scale. So again, they are exactly the same letters. Imagine your C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, starting this time from the note A, which I'm playing here, and this goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So we're talking about the same 7 letters of the alphabet, okay? These two keys, one is major and one is minor, these two scales, one is major and one is minor, they take the name of C major and A minor. In music, we say that they are relative keys because they have a relationship, right? Because they involve exactly the same notes, just in a different order. Now, when is it that you might hear things like 1-4-5, 1-6-2-5, and so on in a specific key when they refer to the chords as numbers? Well, it might happen if you play in church, so in a gospel environment, that's very common, or it might happen if you are a musician that goes to a jam session, you don't know the song that you're about to play, and the guy who plays guitar in the house band is gonna tell you the numbers for the chords that you have to play for that song, simply because you still don't know what's the key that you're gonna play in, okay? So without knowing the key, if you know the numbers of the chords that you're gonna play, you can play that song in any key the singer, for instance, is gonna choose. And speaking about singers, if you happen to play with a friend or with a singer in general, and you want to play guitar for them, and they ask you to move the key of that song that you know in a different key, if you know the chord numbers, you're gonna be much more confident and also quicker when you have to move the key of a song. So chord analysis is really important. Understanding the numbers for the chords that you play in a song or in a chord progression is really important. Let's start from the basics. All of the notes that we previously played in this C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, they can have numbers really. Okay, so you can say C is number 1, the first note of the scale, D is number 2, E is number 3, F is number 4, G is number 5, A is number 6, and B is number 7. So what did I do? I just added numbers from 1 to 7 for the 7 notes of the C major scale in the order you actually find in the scale, okay? So if I want to play a 1-4-5, all I'm gonna do is literally count which note is the 1, well that's obvious, that's the C, which note is the 4, so C, D, E, F, and then which note is the 5, G, the next note. So if somebody tells you you're going to play a 1-4-5 in C major, that's simply C, F, G. Now we need to say that some chords are major and some chords are minor. There is actually only one which is also diminished, but we're not going to talk about this right now. So we need to establish which chords are major and which chords are minor. Well, if you know anything about the harmonized major scale, so the process of getting chords out of this scale that we just learned, you know that we've got 3 major chords and 3 minor chords in each key. In a major key, the 3 major chords are on the 1st, on the 4th, and on the 5th degree. We say degree, but we are literally referring to the notes of the scale. And 3 minor chords on the 2nd, 3rd, and 6th degree. Okay. So in the example that we just made, if I do 1, 4, 5, I don't have to worry about it because all of these chords are major. So I can play C major, F major, and G major. They actually sound pretty good together, right? If I want to use any of the other degrees that we mentioned are minor, so the second, the third, or the sixth, in any order really, I'm just going to use those notes. For instance, C, D, so second degree is D, third degree is E, and sixth degree is A. I'm going to use them all as minor. So if I have a chord progression which goes not anymore 1, 4, 5, but this time it goes 1, 6, 4, 5, I will have to do 1 is C, 6 is A, okay, because C, D, E, F, G, A. Then 4 and 5 were F and G. But I can't play them all major. I need to remember that the sixth degree is minor. So I'm going to play C, A minor, F, and G. So this works really good in any key and in any chord progression you have to play, okay? If you guys are curious about how we get to this point with the major and minor chords, I do have an entire series on YouTube for free about music theory for guitarists. I will link in the description below the episode where you find the explanation of why some chords are major and why some are minor, and you will also find chapters in that lesson so that you can navigate through the lesson and go directly to the part that you're more interested in. Now I hear you that you might want to know, how do I move this in another key which is not C major? Well, assuming that the key is major, all you have to do is being comfortable with this position of the scale that we showed before and move the root note, so the first note of the scale, to another note on the same string. So if I want a D major key, I will move the C major scale from C to D and I will be playing exactly the same position. Well, now you need to know the names of the notes on the fretboard, because you have to see that this is made by D, E, F sharp, so we start having sharps. Then G, A, B, C sharp, D, so there's another sharp, 2 sharps in the key of D major. Well, you might just count whole step, half, whole, half, as we explained before, and you will figure this out quickly in any key, even if you don't know this position. But for what we just explained before, if you guys can practice this 1 octave scale, that would be really helpful to quickly figure out which chords you can play, for instance in the key of D major. So if we want to play that 1, 4, 5 in D major, well, the 1 is always here, the 4 is here, and the 5 is here. Therefore, D, G, and A are my 1, 4, and 5 in the key of D major. Let's check them out. That's a 1, 4, 5 in D major. Before, we were using the 6th degree as well, and we explained that that is a minor chord. Well, then, if I continue on the D major scale until my 6th note, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, I find the B. So I can play a B minor in the 1, 4, 5 chord progression, adding the 6th minor and doing 1, 6 minor, 4, and 5. So D, D minor, back to D. So there's 1, 6 minor, 4, 5, even in the key of D major. It sounds really good. You can have fun and try with the 2nd degree, with the 3rd. It's up to you really. And remember that you can quickly do this in any major key. Now, what does it happen if the key is minor? So sometimes you might find minor keys in the songs that you play. Well, then all we need as a reference is that A minor scale made by A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, the 7 letters of the alphabet, and we will number even these notes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so you can do 1, then you can do 4 and 5 even here, for instance, and you will find the notes A, D, and E, because I start counting them now from A. So A, B, C, D is 4, E is 5. And now we have to sort out, okay, which chords are major and which chords are minor here. Well, for the same reasons as before, we're going to find 3 major chords and 3 minor chords. One is diminished, but we're not going to talk about this. So the 3 minor chords that you find are on the 1st, the 4th, and the 5th degree. The 3 major chords that you find are on the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th degree. Okay, so if I play 1, 4, and 5, all of these chords are going to be minor, and they sound good together. So A minor, D minor, E minor, A minor, however you want to play them. They sound really good. Now, if I go to the other major chords, okay, so if I go to the 3, to the 6, or to the 7th, they're just going to be major. So if I use 1, 4, and 5, but I also use the 3, which is going to be major, the chords that I can play are A minor, then for instance C major, then D minor, E minor. That's a 1 minor, the 3 major, the 4 and the 5 are minor like we said before, okay? Again, you can have fun with all of the other numbers, with all of the other degrees, and if you want to move this to another key, which is minor, you just take the A from here, which is on the top string, on the E string, and you move it wherever you like it. So you can move it from A to B, and just with using this one single octave scale, you get all of the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just counting the names of these notes in the key of B minor, for instance now. One final thing that is slightly more advanced is that when we number the notes in a minor key, this happens only in a minor key, there are 3 notes, the 3rd, the 6th, and the 7th, so the 3 major chords that you will be using in a minor key, that would need a flat just before the Roman numeral that you will be using for this chord. So why is that? Because in a minor scale, the intervals that you find as the 3rd note, the 6th and the 7th are actually minor. This comes from the interval table, from how we define the intervals between major and minor, but again it only applies to intervals, so that doesn't mean that if you put the flat, the note that you find is flat or the chord that you play is minor, nothing like that. That's just confusing. It actually applies to the way you number the chord only. So if you've got your C major, but you are in the key of A minor, so A minor is the 1 minor, when you number the C, which is the 3rd note of your scale, A, B, C, rather than just writing the 3 in Roman numeral, you're also going to put the flat just before. Not because the C is flat, the C is a natural note, but because the degree in the scale, the note of the scale, is a minor 3rd, and we use the minor intervals numbered with the flat just before that. So A is the 1 in the key, B is the 2 in the key, 3 is the flat 3. That's what we say to say minor 3rd. That's quite obvious because we are in a minor key, so we'll be finding something minor, like the minor 3rd, the minor 6th, and the minor 7th. Okay, so for the 3, 6, and 7, remember to put the flat just before the Roman numeral, and you're good to go. Now, regardless of whether you are in a major or in a minor key, if the chords are major, you're going to use the Roman numeral of that degree as a capital letter numeral. If instead the chord is minor, obviously you're going to use a small letter so that you can immediately visualize whether the chord is major or minor. So an example is that if we are in the key of C major and I play that F, which is the 4 in Roman numeral will be in capital letters. If I'm playing in the key of A minor and I play a C major, which is my flat 3 for what we just explained, well, that 3 that you put next to the flat is going to be in capital letters because the C is a major chord. Okay? Guys, a full lesson, more in details, with all of the harmonized major and minor scales is available on my YouTube channel. I uploaded it a few weeks ago. It's a little bit more advanced, so if you're curious to know more about this, or you want to sort out something that might be confusing at first, check out that video as well. I will put a link in the description below and probably even a card up here somewhere. That's all for this lesson, guys. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about all we explained on chord numbers. I tried to keep it as simple as I could, but if you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you enjoy these lessons and you feel like supporting this channel, you can check out my Patreon page, where you will find many rewards and extra material which is not available here on YouTube. That being said, do all of the YouTube things, like, subscribe, and make sure to ring the bell. This was the Bearded Guitarist. Thanks for watching, guys.